I learned I wasn't welcome at the Christmas party through a text. No phone call, no explanation in person, just a short message from my mother. Sweetheart, your father and I think it would be best if you don't attend the Christmas gathering this year. Emily feels uneasy around you. At the end of the message was a line I'd seen many times before. One click from you keeps these stories alive. Subscribe because every voice deserves to be heard. I stared at my phone, rereading her words over and over. Uneasy around you. Emily was my younger sister. When we were kids, we were inseparable. We shared secrets, laughed at dumb jokes, and stole snacks late at night when our parents weren't paying attention. Somehow, without me noticing, things had shifted. I called my mom immediately. She answered with that careful tone people use when they already know a conversation is about to get uncomfortable. "Hi, honey. What exactly does it mean that Emily feels uncomfortable around me?" I asked. She sighed. "It's complicated." "No," I said calmly, "it's actually very simple. Either I've done something wrong or someone believes I have." There was a pause. "Emily feels that when you're around, people compare the two of you." I blinked. "Compare us?"
"You know how relatives talk," she said gently. I leaned back in my chair. Emily and I couldn't have been more different. She thrived on attention, fashion, parties, and social media. She was an influencer with a large online following. I lived quietly. I ran a small tech company and stayed far away from the spotlight. Somehow, that contrast had turned into a problem. "When you're at family events," my mom continued, "the conversation shifts to your work. It makes her feel overshadowed. So the solution," I said slowly, "is to pretend I don't exist?" "It's just one gathering," she said quickly. "Our Christmas gathering," I replied. "Yes," she said softly. I hesitated, then asked the question that had been bothering me since the text arrived. Was this Emily's idea? Silence. Finally, she answered, "Yes." That hurt more than I expected, not because I needed a party, but because my own sister chose exclusion as the easiest fix. "When were you planning to tell me?" I asked. "Well, we just did." I glanced at the calendar. Christmas was 2 days away. Everyone else had clearly been invited already. Everyone except me. "All right," I said evenly. Mom sounded relieved. "So you understand?" "Oh, I understand completely." "What does that mean?" I looked at my phone, then smiled faintly. "It means I won't be there, but it also means something else." "What's that?"
You might want to let Emily know the Christmas party won't be happening at your house this year. Mom sounded confused. "What are you talking about? It's always here." "Not this time," I said calmly. "Don't be dramatic," she replied. Before I could respond, my dad's voice came through. "Put him on speaker." A moment later, he said, "What's going on?" "He says the party isn't happening here," my mom explained. "That's ridiculous," Dad snapped. "It's actually very logical," I said. "Explain." "You know how every year the family asks me to organize everything?" I asked. "Yes," Mom said hesitantly. "That's because I don't just organize it," I continued. "I pay for it." Silence. The food, decorations, music, catering, gifts, everything, I said. All you provided was the space. Dad didn't respond. "This year," I added, "I made a different choice." Mom's voice lowered. "What choice?" "I booked a venue." "A venue?" she repeated. "Yes, a large one." Dad sounded irritated. "Why would you do that?" "Because the family keeps growing," I replied. "Last year, people were packed into hallways." "That's true," Mom admitted. "So I rented a ballroom downtown." Another pause. "You already invited everyone?" Mom asked. "Yes."
Everyone? She pressed. Everyone, I confirmed, including Emily. Dad scoffed. So you moved the entire party because of this? No, I said. I moved it because no one gets erased to make someone else comfortable. Mom sighed. Where is this place? I told her the hotel's name. The silence that followed was heavy. That hotel wasn't just nice, it was extremely expensive. You rented that? Dad asked slowly. Yes. For Christmas? Yes. Why spend that kind of money? I smiled. Because it's also my company's end-of-year celebration. What does your company have to do with this? Mom asked. Let's just say, I replied, this was a very successful year. How successful? Dad asked. Successful enough, I said, that tonight's event costs more than Emily earned from influencing all year. The call ended in complete silence. Christmas Eve arrived. The ballroom shimmered with lights, music, and laughter. Coworkers, family members, and friends filled the space with energy and warmth. I stood near the entrance, welcoming guests. Around 8 o'clock, my parents walked in. They stopped just inside, clearly stunned by the scale of the room. Then Emily appeared behind them. She scanned the space slowly. When she saw me, she hesitated, then walked over. You really did all this? She asked quietly. Yes. I didn't know, she admitted. That's okay, I said. You weren't meant to. She looked down. I never wanted you excluded. I just felt like I was always being compared. I know, I said. She looked up. So, you're not angry? No. Why? I glanced around the room. Because this proves something. What? Success doesn't require pushing someone else out. She smiled, genuinely this time, and for the first time in years, it felt like we weren't competing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy meaningful story videos, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next one.